It started as just another press junket, the kind actors do 100 times while promoting a film. But within seconds, a single question turned what should have been a routine interview into a viral firestorm. When Italian reporter Federica Polidoro asked Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield to reflect on the Me Too and Black Lives Matter movements, one person was noticeably left out, their co-star, Ayo Edebiri. And the way she responded, calm, poised, and razor-sharp, left the internet buzzing. Viewers immediately caught the tension. Roberts and Garfield looked stunned, Edebiri gave a thoughtful pushback, and social media quickly erupted. Was this simply a case of awkward phrasing, a cultural misunderstanding, or something far deeper about who gets to have a voice in Hollywood conversations? Because what followed wasn't just one viral clip. It was backlash, accusations, a defensive Instagram statement from the reporter herself, and an entire debate about race, media responsibility, and the future of Hollywood interviews. And the story? It's just getting started. Before we dive deeper into the controversy, it's worth asking, who exactly is Ayo Edebiri, and why did her response strike such a chord? Born in Boston to Nigerian and Barbadian parents, Ayo didn't grow up with Hollywood connections or a safety net. She studied at NYU, initially drawn to education, but comedy pulled her in. Stand-up clubs, writing rooms, and eventually podcasting became her training ground. Slowly, she built a reputation for sharp humor mixed with emotional intelligence, a rare combination that made people stop and listen. Her big break came with The Bear, where she plays Sydney, a talented but underestimated chef trying to find her voice in a chaotic kitchen. The role wasn't just career-defining, it made her one of the most talked-about young stars in Hollywood. Critics praised her range, and audiences connected with her vulnerability. Suddenly, she wasn't just the new face of TV. She was a rising powerhouse. However, what truly sets Ayo apart is her ability to handle uncomfortable moments with poise and grace. Whether it's in interviews, comedy sets, or even on social media, she never lets tension break her. Instead, she redirects it, turning awkwardness into powerful commentary. That's exactly what she did in the viral moment with Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. While many would have stayed silent or laughed it off, Ayo leaned in with calm authority, reminding everyone why she's become such a respected voice for young black women in Hollywood. And as it turns out, that reputation made the backlash even louder. The moment that sparked the firestorm came during a press stop for After the Hunt. Sitting side by side, Julia Roberts, Andrew Garfield, and Ayo Edebiri were ready for the usual round of promotional questions. But then, reporter Federica Polidoro leaned in with one that instantly shifted the room's energy. She asked Roberts and Garfield, specifically, not Edebiri, now that the Me Too era and the Black Lives Matter movement are done, what do we have to expect in Hollywood? What did we lose in the politically correct era? It was a loaded question on multiple levels. First, the phrasing suggested both Me Too and BLM were done, as if they were passing cultural fads instead of ongoing movements. Second, directing the question only to Roberts and Garfield, while leaving out Edebiri, the only black woman at the table, immediately struck viewers as strange. Roberts and Garfield exchanged quick glances, their surprise evident. But it was Edebiri who broke the tension with quiet precision. She jumped in. "Yeah, I know that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful. It's not for me. But I just am curious." Her tone was calm, but the subtext was unmistakable. She wasn't going to let the exclusion slide. Fans online instantly noticed. Clips of Roberts' raised eyebrows, Garfield's uncomfortable smile, and Ayo's poised interjection spread across TikTok and Twitter. People weren't just debating the reporter's intent. They were debating what it revealed about Hollywood's ongoing blind spots. Because if Me Too and BLM were done, then what did that say about the voices still fighting to be heard? But the storm really hit when the cameras stopped rolling. The clip didn't just live on YouTube. It exploded everywhere. Within hours, snippets of the interview were bouncing across X, TikTok, and Reddit. Fans clipped Ayo's quick response, Roberts' raised eyebrows, and Garfield's half-nervous smile, turning them into reaction memes and viral edits. The central question dominating the online storm was simple. Why was Ayo excluded? She was sitting right there, starring in the same film, and arguably the one whose identity and experience connected most directly to the question. For many viewers, it wasn't just awkward, it was offensive. Accusations of racism flooded the comment sections. Some argued that ignoring the only black woman on the panel in a conversation about the Black Lives Matter movement wasn't just a mistake, it was a glaring act of ignorance. Others pointed out the phrasing of "done," suggesting it minimized ongoing struggles for racial and gender justice. The reporter wasn't just being criticized for who she excluded, but also for how she framed the entire discussion. Meanwhile, Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield's visible discomfort only fueled the memes. Roberts' stunned expression became a screenshot shared thousands of times. Garfield's attempt at a polite half-smile was turned into a TikTok soundbite. That face when you know something is wrong, but you can't fix it. And soon, the mainstream media caught on. Headlines from major outlets labeled the exchange awkward, viral, and controversial. Entertainment blogs framed Ayo as the poised hero of the moment, while the reporter quickly became the villain in the narrative. It wasn't just a celebrity interview anymore. It was a flashpoint in a much larger cultural conversation about race, representation, and who gets to speak in Hollywood. And as the heat intensified, the reporter finally broke her silence. With the backlash growing louder by the hour, Federica Polidoro decided she couldn't stay silent. On September 8th, just 3 days after the viral interview, she posted a long statement to Instagram, part defense, part counterattack. In her words, she had been subjected to personal insults and attacks because of a question that, for some reason, was not well received by some members of the public. She insisted she had been unjustly accused of racism, pointing out that her own family is multi-ethnic, matriarchal, and feminist, with a significant history of immigration. Polidoro pushed back against critics by reframing her role as a journalist. Journalism's role is to ask questions, even on delicate topics, with respect and responsibility, she wrote. She argued that censoring or delegitimizing questions considered uncomfortable does not fall within the practice of democracy. But the most striking part of her statement was the anger. She claimed those attacking her were guilty of the very intolerance they accused her of. To her, the real problem wasn't her phrasing, but the online mob, what she described as cyberbullying fueled by people eager to see racism everywhere. She even hinted at legal action, saying she would not tolerate defamatory language and reserved the right to protect herself. The response to her defense was split. Some agreed, saying the outrage had gone too far over a clumsy question. Others accused her of deflecting, pointing out she never acknowledged the hurt caused by excluding Ayo or by suggesting movements like BLM were done. But this wasn't the first time Hollywood had seen a reporter caught in the crossfire. The viral interview didn't just spark outrage at one reporter, it reopened an ongoing conversation about how black actresses are treated in Hollywood press cycles. Because the truth is, Ayo Edebiri's experience isn't new. For years, fans have pointed out interviewers sidelining or outright ignoring women of color. Zendaya has spoken about being asked fewer serious questions compared to her white co-stars. Halle Bailey, while promoting The Little Mermaid, was dismissed by certain reporters who framed her casting as controversial instead of celebrating her performance. Even during red carpets, black actresses are often asked about fashion or beauty tips, while their male or white counterparts are asked about craft, influence, and impact. That's why Ayo's calm interjection resonated so deeply. She didn't lash out or turn defensive. She simply held her ground with quiet strength. In that moment, she transformed an awkward silence into a clear statement. She saw the exclusion, she named it, and she refused to be erased. Fans described it as grace under fire, a reminder that sometimes the most powerful response isn't loud, it's steady. But the deeper question remains, why are these moments still happening in 2025? Why are some reporters still framing questions in ways that sideline black voices or trivialize ongoing social movements? Was Polidoro's phrasing just careless, or a symptom of an industry that still struggles to fully evolve? What became clear was that this wasn't just about one interview. It was about representation, accountability, and the responsibility of the media in shaping who gets to be heard. And the drama didn't stop with the interview. It also collided with the movie they were there to promote. Ironically, the movie at the center of all this chaos, After the Hunt, couldn't be more thematically connected to the controversy. The psychological drama follows an Ivy League professor, played by Andrew Garfield, whose career and reputation spiral after a student, played by Ayo Edebiri, accuses him of assault. Julia Roberts portrays another professor caught in the fallout, as the film unravels questions of power, gender, and accountability in academic spaces. In other words, the very issues Federica Polidoro awkwardly tried to reference in her viral question are the exact themes driving the movie's plot. That's what made the moment sting even more. The exclusion of Edebiri in a conversation about Not Me Too and BLM wasn't just clumsy, it directly contradicted the message of the film itself. At the Venice Film Festival press conference, the cast got another chance to address those themes. This time, the discussion felt measured and thoughtful. Garfield reflected on the ongoing relevance of that toward Me Too. Roberts emphasized the importance of listening to diverse voices, and Ayo once again stood out as a sharp, articulate voice in the conversation. It was the kind of dialogue fans expected the first time around. But the internet doesn't always move on so quickly. After The Hunt tried to build momentum for its October release, much of the online chatter remained stuck on that single viral clip. Fans debated whether the controversy would overshadow the film's rollout, or if it might ironically bring even more attention to the project. But while the movie may move on, fans weren't done digging into this viral storm. Once the dust settled, the internet did what it always does: start speculating. For some fans, the exclusion felt intentional. They argued that leaving Ayo out of a question tied directly to Black Lives Matter wasn't just a slip, but a choice rooted in bias. She was the only black woman there. How do you not see her? One viral TikTok comment read. Others pushed back, suggesting the controversy might be more about clumsy wording than malicious intent. Federica Polidoro is Italian, and some defended her by pointing out potential cultural or language barriers. Maybe, they said, she meant to direct the question toward Roberts and Garfield as Hollywood veterans, not to deliberately sideline Edebiri. That theory sparked its own debate. Was she really deferring to senior voices, or was she unconsciously dismissing the younger star at the table? Either way, fans agreed that Edebiri's interjection made it clear she noticed, and wasn't afraid to call it out. Meanwhile, others speculated about Polidoro's future. Would this viral controversy follow her career? Would she be remembered as the reporter who ignored Ayo, or would the backlash fade in time? In an era where reputations are made and broken online, the question lingered. And of course, the memes poured in. Fans edited Roberts' shocked reaction into endless GIFs. Garfield's awkward smile became a template for when you know something's off but can't say it. And Ayo? She was celebrated with captions like, Ayo carrying the interview on her back, turning her into the unofficial star of the press tour. Theories, defenses, and memes aside, the viral moment left behind a bigger conversation that wasn't so easy to dismiss. And that leads us to the bigger, lasting question. What was meant to be a simple promotional stop turned into one of the most talked-about interview moments of the year. A single question, phrased awkwardly, directed selectively, shifted the spotlight from the film to a global debate about representation, respect, and who gets to speak. Through it all, Ayo Edebiri's calm response became the heart of the story. She didn't need to raise her voice or spark confrontation. Instead, she handled the exclusion with grace, intelligence, and quiet strength. That's why her words resonated so widely, because they revealed both the problem and the solution in real time. But the question still lingers. Was this simply one reporter's slip, an unfortunate case of poor phrasing and cultural misunderstanding? Or was it proof that, even in 2025, Hollywood still has a long way to go in deciding whose voices matter most? Either way, this viral moment will be remembered not just for the backlash it caused, but for the way one actress refused to be sidelined. So what do you think? Was this harmless or harmful? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more Hollywood deep dives.